Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we're going to take a look at chapter 56 of Kaiju number 8, and oh my goodness, the satisfaction of this chapter was delicious! What do I mean by that? This chapter was everything I've been wanting and waiting for. Well, not everything, but a massive chunk of what I've been wanting and waiting for ever since the end of the fight scene way back 20 chapters ago. This chapter focused on one character and one situation that has been sitting in the back of my mind throughout all of the Kaiju number 8 Director General Shinamaya drama. And I am so excited. So it's going to be really hard to make this a spoiler-free review, but this is a chapter really makes me question how in tune the mangaka Matsumoto is with the fan community, because this chapter gives me, as a fan, and I know gives a lot of my friends in the Kaiju number 8 community, exactly what we were wanting. I mean, it's satisfying. You go to a restaurant to get a big juicy steak, and you get a big juicy steak. And this was a big juicy steak. We got a lot of development in here. We've got a lot of world building. We have some major questions answered. And even bigger questions raised. I mean, this was a real meaty chapter. As usual, the art was just spot on, and I don't really talk about the art only in so much as it serves the story, but this is one of my favorite character for artistic purposes is in this chapter. I mean, even better than the Kaiju number 8 form in full combat mode. The first panel, the chapter opening panel, just gives us one of Matsumoto's signature panels. And it's a panel that is, like all still frame artwork, it's just one moment, in a single instant in time. But there is this sense of motion around it. This character has just stopped moving. This character is going to start moving again in the instant. You look at this image, and you can see the movement to the point where I honestly don't know that an anime could do this scene better. And then again, you just have this character looking really buff and well drawn and realistic in a way that really shows experience and skill in any artist, because this is something that applies equally to Western art and manga. There is a certain lack of uniformity that only comes with skill. You'll notice that the more inexperienced an artist is, even if they're technically skilled, the more similar their characters look. And no matter what art style an artist is maturing in, when they're young and inexperienced, all of their characters kind of look the same. This is true for writing. Inexperienced writers, not only can you interchange their own characters, if you took the first works of any author, including myself, and swapped up all the main characters, you probably couldn't tell that you'd done it. In reality, in real life, human beings are incredibly individual. That's why facial recognition, it's why we have pictures on our passports. So humans are very good at recognizing patterns and recognizing what they know. So, and in artwork, that means that someone who's not very good at drawing is going to not be able to really mimic that asymmetry in a human. And in Matsumoto's artwork, especially in this one character that's in the first panel, that skill, that ability to artistically show the true asymmetry of a real living human just shines out. And when you look at this character, you feel like you're looking at a real person, like almost like it's not that it's photorealistic, it's that it's realistic on another thing. This isn't just a theoretical character. It really feels like this is a real person, and that effect is achieved by imperfections, by artificially maintaining those tiny differences in symmetry and stance that are just really, really hard to describe if you're not an artist, and that I assume are actually pretty difficult to describe even if you are an artist. And that just really, really shines in this chapter. And then we have the main plot of the chapter. There's a bit of exposition that is expertly woven in that explains the situation to us and why the Defense Force would be daring to put its officers in this situation. And we get a really, really interesting dynamic. You have a very, very classic trope in all storytelling, but I don't know that it's more common in manga than in Western comics, but maybe I'm just more familiar with manga than I am with Western comics. But it's the trope where you have the hero confronts the baddie says, we're alike, you and I, and the hero denies it, and then the baddie makes a logical argument. And usually this comes off, the end of this trope has you agreeing with the baddie on some level. Clearly the hero's the good guy and the baddie's the bad guy, but they're agreeing that there is something similar between them. But in this situation, that's actually not how you come off. You come off getting the feeling that the baddie, either through his inexperience or his being blinded by his own perspective, is wrong, that there is not that similarity between them, or that if the similarity does exist, it's not the link between them that the baddie considers it to be. And I have some pretty interesting ideas. I suspect that where this is going, that instead of this link existing between the baddie and the character it's addressing, I think it exists between the hero the baddie's addressing and another character. And I think that this confrontation might have made the hero realize what he actually wanted, or might have at least planted a seed in his head. But that might just be wishful thinking on my part. But my point being, the mangaka Matsumoto really played a subversion of this trope off well. And again, this chapter answers so many questions. What's going to happen to this character? What's going to happen to this thing? And I am just genuinely thrilled with the results. Now, back to what I said at the beginning. This chapter gives the kaiju community that I'm a part of so much of what it wants. It's tempting to believe that Matsumoto was actually paying attention to the fan community and paying attention to what the fans wanted. Now, that also assumes that the larger fan community in Japan wanted the same things out of these characters and relationships that my personal circle of, I think there's maybe 5 of us that I've talked about this with, want, but maybe we're a good barometer, or maybe Matsumoto is what I think this actually is, this chapter 56 being so satisfying for us. Matsumoto is a very good storyteller and went into this story with a plan. Therefore, the hints that we are responding to, the elements of the story that caused us to want these things, were deliberately put in there by Matsumoto, and Matsumoto is less responding to the wants of the fan community and more continuing on the path that he had set out from the beginning. And the continuation of Matsumoto's path is so satisfying because Matsumoto was able to build up the story in a logically coherent manner that reflected reality so well. And that's my 2 cents on why this chapter was just so satisfying. So what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Is Matsumoto just that good of an author? Was Matsumoto listening to the fan community? How long is it going to take us to get the scene where the decision made by the hero actually comes into effect on the battlefield? I am really, really excited for that. So, that was your spoiler-free review of Chapter 56 of Kaiju number 8. I hope you enjoyed it. On a side note, if you've made it this far in the video, could you please let me know what you think of the sound quality of this video? I've just switched microphones, and I'd be really, really happy if you could let me know how this video sounds compared to other videos that I've done in the past. So hit that like and subscribe button, leave a comment telling me what you think, what's going to happen next, and peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird. We took a vote, and humans are weird. I have the data. 2 books in a series of human absurdity. Go check out these short story collections. What will our little green friends think of us when we finally do make it to space? Find out the answer in 2 books of human absurdity. Humans are weird, we took a vote, and humans are weird, I have the data. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and Google Play.